In this video, we will show you how to replace your front bumper cover on this Kia Forte Koup. This will be mounted along the front of your vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay friend, it's time for the replacement of our front bumper cover. To do this, it's best to start from underneath the front, so let's safely raise and support. As we make our way under the front bumper cover, along each side, we're going to find that we have 3 push clips to remove. To remove your push clips, generally you can just use a trim tool or pretty much any small prying device. Remove the center, and then remove the outer portion as well. Once you have this dislodged, the next thing we need to do is make our way up inside here so we can gain access along the back side of our fog lamp assembly. Now along the back side of the fog lamp assembly is where you're going to find your fog lamp bulb and the wiring harness. We have to disconnect the wiring harness from the bulb. To do that, you want to squeeze on the 2 locking tabs, dislodge it, a quick inspection for corrosion. We'll set the wiring harness aside. At this point, we need to repeat this entire process along the other side of the front bumper cover. Once you've completed that, we'll make our way up inside the front wheel well to remove a mounting screw. Following your bumper cover up to where it meets the fender, in this corner area here, you're going to find a Phillips head screw on each side of the front bumper cover. Once you've removed the screw, take hold of the front bumper cover, hold onto the fender, and lightly tug it apart, separating this area. Repeat the process on the other side of the vehicle and we'll meet in the engine compartment. Now that we have both sides separated along the front area of your engine compartment, you're going to find that you have 4 push clips holding your front grille. Your front grille is attached to the bumper cover, so as we remove these, keep in mind these are the last things holding everything in place here. I'm going to use my knee to hold the bumper cover against the vehicle while I continue. With all those out of there, let's go ahead and remove the bumper cover from the vehicle. We need to get the bumper cover with grille assemblies into a safe area where we can roll this down and start disassembling the rest. Along the back side of the bumper cover, there are several areas that we're going to have to pay attention to. We'll start removing the upper grille first. The upper grille is held in place with 8 Phillips head screws. Start on one side, make our way around. All these screws should look the same. Should be able to pop this out of place. A quick inspection of that will set it aside. Continuing downward from there, we'll remove the foam panel that makes its way across. This is held in place with 2 metal clips. To remove the metal clips, you can do it several different ways. I'm just going to use some long nose pliers. We'll just take hold of it, give it a little wiggle, and try to pull it out of place. A quick inspection of the locking clips, typically you will be reusing these. Now let's take hold of that foam panel and we'll lift it up and off of here. Quick inspection, set it aside. Now we can start removing the lower grille assembly and lower plastic panel. When removing this, you're going to find along the top you have several locking clips. You're also going to have some Phillips head screws that we have to remove. There's 8 of them making their way around this. Let's start with the Phillips head screws, 4 on each side. This one's tucked inside this area here. Moving straight down from there. Continuing in this groove, you're going to have 2 more Phillips head screws. Now it's time for the plastic clips. To remove these, typically I just use a small screwdriver. You can use pretty much anything that's small enough to fit in between. Gently pry while pressing. You can see that that clip is dislodged. We'll continue making our way around. by applying gentle pressure while prying these apart. Let's turn this over so we can take this off. A quick inspection of that will set it aside. At this point, I have the bumper cover upside down, so this is the bottom and that would be the top. Looking at what would be the top, we have a couple locking tabs. They make their way along the sides. As you make your way towards what would be the bottom of the bumper cover, you're going to find two Phillips head screws, one over here and one over on the other lower corner. We'll remove both of those screws and then start releasing the locking tabs to remove the fog lamp assembly. Get this first Phillips head screw. Second one in the far corner. Now we can start removing our locking tabs. We have one here, and we'll continue making our way all the way around. When removing these, I'm just going to continue with my pocket screwdriver. It's pretty much the easiest tool you can use for something like this. I'm gently tugging up on the unit while pressing down on the bumper cover at the same time, putting opposing pressure. We'll continue on lifting this up and away. There's one. Repeat the process on the other side of the bumper cover. There's that one. And there it is, friend. Okay, friend, it's time to install our front bumper cover. Before we put it on the vehicle, let's prepare it. We'll start with the lower grille assembly. That's going to go across this area down along the bottom. We'll get this close to being in the proper position and roll the bumper cover down on a nice flat surface. Once you have it down, it's going to want to fit into position because we have this area here. It has a small groove. But what we need to continue paying attention to is all the locking clips that would be across what would be the top of the lower grille. We're going to try to press this together. Listen for a click from each one of them. There we are. Continue making our way along the sides here. There we go. Check the other side. Just a quick wiggle of that to ensure that all the locking tabs are properly installed, and we'll continue on with our mounting screws. It's a good idea to go ahead and start in each of these before you tighten any of them, just in case you have to try to realign them. Leave that loose. Once you have all the screws started in and everything's properly aligned, go ahead and snug them up. Now it's time for our fog lamp assemblies and housings. Along what would be the bottom, you have two screw ports. And if you were to look along the bottom of the bumper cover port, you're going to find the area for those screws. Of course, we do also have several locking tabs making their way around on the bumper cover. Start getting this in position. We're trying to align all of our locking tabs. Start along the inboard side, continue rolling it around, locking it in as we go. Now it's time for our two Phillips head screws. Now that we have both sides of these in place, we can continue on with our foam bumper piece. We'll rest that in position. This is held in place with those two metallic clamps. One of them's along here, and the other one's in the same spot on the other side of the bumper cover. Let's get our metal clips on there. Just press them right on. Now we can install our front grille. We'll bring this around and start getting it in position. We're paying attention along the bottom of the grille It will have 2 locking tabs. Those will fit into the slots that are on the bumper cover itself. Swing it in. While we're bringing those in to latch them in, we also want to pay attention along the top corners. There's going to be another point that's supposed to latch in. We'll just squeeze it, press it in. Same thing on the other side. At this point, let's continue on with all 8 of our Phillips head mounting screws, starting them in, and then we can snug them up. That's all of them. Let's make sure they're tight. Let's get this over to the vehicle. Let's get our bumper cover in place. We'll start sliding this in, paying attention along the center area. We'll lightly press this in. Install all 4 of your push clips across the center. That'll hold things in place as we continue making our way towards each side. Now let's start bringing this into position along the bottom of the headlamp assembly. As we make our way towards the fender, we're going to align this as well and press it in. Pause on this side of the vehicle, do the exact same thing on the other. Once you've done that, we'll make our way into the wheel well. Along each corner of the bumper cover, we're going to install our Phillips head screw. Just start that in and snug it up. Make sure that's properly secured. Do the same exact thing on the other side of the vehicle. Then we'll make our way under the front bumper cover. Now it's time to resecure the wiring harness here for each one of the fog lamps. We'll press it in, make sure it's secured in place properly. Let's install our plastic panel. Bring this area up and over the bumper cover. Swing it in. When installing your plastic push pins, you want to have them in the unlocked position. Press them up and through and lock them in with the centers. We'll continue on down the line. A quick confirmation that everything's properly secured along the bottom corner here. Repeat the exact same process on the other side of the vehicle. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. At this point, you want to go ahead and take your vehicle for a road test and listen for any funny noises. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.